Good afternoon, welcome back to Turbo Tortoise Tech. My name is Wookie XXL and this is your tech news in 6 minutes or less. Intel rebrand amid some lawsuits and accusations of FinFET patent infringements. AMD Zen 4 is confirmed to be on the 5nm process. Nvidia's A100 is confirmed to be the fastest GPU in the world. AMD's MI100 might be able to challenge that crown. EA wins big after moving on to the Steam platform. And Uncle Gaben picks Xbox as the best next-gen console. Amidst some very hot times over at Intel with lawsuits flying left, right and center, the Microelectrical Institute at the Chinese Academy of Sciences has jumped on the bandwagon, identifying that they may have infringed on their FinFET patent. This would cover 3 generations worth of Intel processors, so they've started up the lawsuit bandwagon with a 200 million yuan or about $28 million lawsuit. Things weren't all doom and gloom over at Intel though, as they are going through a rebranding and have registered some new entities, including Intel Evo, which is going to be probably a multi-core or multi-technology core setup where you have different kinds of cores on the same sort of chip. There was also a leak that showed their PCIe Gen 4 is going to be on their next iteration of processors, so that's going to be coming to desktop for graphics and NVMe performance. Now over at AMD, their outlook is a lot more sunny with their new Zen 4 architecture being put on a 5nm process. This is a confirmed setup, and if the IPC gains are anything like they had been before, it just means even more insanity. Nvidia has officially submitted their MLPerf benchmarks, and it is taking the top spot from themselves with their Volta V100 as far as machine learning and AI coding goes. And based on their performance results, it's looking at 1.5 to 2.5 times as strong as the Volta was. With 40 gigs of HBM2 memory, that's, well, semi-unsurprising. But in reply to that, there has been a leak over at AMD around their new Radeon Instinct MI100, which is going to be hot on their heels. It's going to have 32 gigs worth of HBM2 memory, so not quite 40, but it does look like it's going to be 2.4 performance levels, whereas their A100 is at 2.5. So it's going to be hot on their heels, and AMD is looking to launch us at a 30% lower price than the Ampere A100. This Radeon MI100 is built on their RDNA 2 technology and is practically 2 5700 XTs worth of shading units shoved together onto one chip. So instead of having 2 cores like they did with their 4870 X2s, this is going to be 2 cores worth of resources in one core, which is obviously going to decrease latency. Another thing that was very interesting was their scaling is basically going to be lossless and 1-for-1, as if Crossfire could get any better. EA has become the most popular publisher on the Steam platform since they launched to it about 3 weeks ago, and in the last week they have topped the sales charts as the most popular publisher on the platform. Now this is somewhat unsurprising considering the breadth of the Steam platform and its content handling being pretty much the best in industry right now. And something that is sort of weird after that is they're going to be redoing the Origin launcher, which seems somewhat superfluous considering their success that they're having on the Steam platform. I could just hope that their file handling improves significantly, because prior to this it was an absolute nightmare. My other hope is while they're on Steam, that Uncle Gaben does a little bit of that 75% sprinkling fairy dust on their DLC packs. Speaking of Uncle Gabe, he is in New Zealand where he has remained for the majority of the lockdown, and he went on a local news and television show looking a lot like Father Christmas. He has been asked the question on this show, which will be the best next-gen console, Xbox or PS5, and he quickly chose Xbox.
I don't have a stake in that race, so obviously we do most of our development on personal computers. So, but of the two, I would definitely go with an Xbox.
Asked why, he said, "Well, it's just better." I think what he means is the spec is better, except for the storage allocations, which does look a little bit better on the PS5 side. But with DirectX 12 Ultimate being supported flatly across the board on all Microsoft platforms, it does make it a lot easier to code for the game producers and publishers. Lastly, in cool things that are cool, there is some nostalgia tech coming out from a company called ZSA, who've practically recreated the old Z-board setup. Now, there are a couple of examples of this, with Razer having their own version of a completely detached sort of gamepad / keyboard setup, but Z-board was really the first that did this. And for the uninitiated, you could have a platform in which you could replace the entire key set on your keyboard with layouts and stuff. I think it was actually very ahead of its time. They also had a standalone setup where you could have the Z-board on standalone, or a full keyboard with the Z-board attached on the side. I had one of those, and it was longer than Jacob Zuma trying to read a 7-digit number. Lastly, having a look at Uncle Evetech's wallet attacks for this week. The Nvidias mouse mat is a whole $150. Raijin Tech's 3-fan pack is on sale in case you need to cool off. The Nvidias 3-in-1 pack with a Mech keyboard is only 650 South African rands. Hikvision makes their SSDs even cheaper. The Antec Neptune 120 is sitting nicely at 1,100 Rand. HP drops a 512 gig NVMe for a whole 1,350 rands. Corsair Vengeance is there for the value performance RAM pickup. Dell's 24-inch Full HD monitor now has FreeSync as well. Their 27 is also a steal for 3,000 Rand. The LG 144Hz remains the best way to go pro, and there's a slew of new upgrade kits on special. That is all we have time for today, unfortunately, but later in the week I will be doing some Vibe Focus Plus content and perhaps a sneaky case review. So until then, stay safe, keep well, and I'll see you on the flip side.